Fox Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Jay Gruden in his 6th year, and many believe he's on the hot seat after this 0-3 start. Pat Shurmur in season number 2 as head man for the New York Giants. And of course, he made the decision a week ago to start Daniel Jones. Shannon Spade.
Hey there, Tom. So I reached out to Duke head coach David Cutcliffe, who coached both Eli Manning and Daniel Jones in college. I wanted to know his thoughts on the last couple weeks. He told me what he saw last Sunday when Daniel Jones and Eli Manning hugged each other after the game. He said that is what sports is all about, dealing with and overcoming adversity. Now, something else that stood out to him from that game was the way that Jones handled the offense, specifically the huddle and the line of scrimmage. He told me he did not look like a rookie.
Shannon, thank you. The Giants won the toss and deferred to getting the football in the second half. So here comes 31-year-old Abilene, Texas native Case Keenum. Entered the league with Houston as a college free agent. Spent a year on the practice squad. Has made starts in Houston, St. Louis, the Rams in St. Louis, the Rams in L.A. 7 touchdowns, close to 1,000 passing yards. He's coming off a game which he turned the ball over 5 times in a loss to Chicago. They fake it to Adrian Peterson. Good protection and going downtown on the first play, and he overshot the second-year wide receiver Trey Quinn. Now the big story, all the injuries for the Redskins. No Terry McLaurin. He's been their best pass catcher so far this season. And how about the front line, Chris Beal?
Yeah, you see Tony Bergstrom taking the place of Roulier and Martin for Sheriff. Those are 2 interior guys, and one thing you want to be able to handle is any 5-man stunts from your 2 interior guys at center and guard. And see what the Giants do to attack that. The absence of 2 starters up front.
The great Adrian Peterson still on his feet and plowing forward, able to turn nothing into a little bit of something, close to a 4-yard gain. It'll bring up 3rd down. We'll call it a 5-yard gain. 3rd and 5 is Giants defense giving up over 460 yards per game.
Yeah, it's always got one guy breaking down, according to James Betcher, the defensive coordinator. Mayo and Ryan Conley, your 2 starting linebackers. Alec Ogletree last week out with a hamstring today.
That's a big hit for the Giants.
That's a leader.
One of their better defenders. And Janoris Jenkins has had a really rough start for this year. First 3rd down try. Crossing pattern. Batting intercepted by Conley. And he slides down to the 32-yard line. It looked like Jenkins in coverage got a hand on the football.
In Friday practice, Janoris Jenkins broke up 2 passes during practice. When you do things in practice, good things will happen in the game. And this is exactly what happened. He's able to close, get that left hand down, and you see Ryan Conley with the pick.
So for the first time since this stadium opened in 2010, and that's a standing ovation you hear, a quarterback not by the name of Eli Manning starts for the New York Giants. And that young man hails from Charlotte, North Carolina, a walk-on at Duke. Daniel Jones coming out throwing it on 1st down. Pump fake, we know he can run. And he gets rid of it. And his first pass as a starter in the stadium is a gain of 3, the completion to Rhett Ellison. Boy, what a debut. First Giant rookie quarterback to win his first career start since 1980. And you can go on and on and on and on about the first that Daniel Jones delivered last week. Most importantly, he replaces an icon here in New York. The author of 2 Super Bowl titles, the great Eli Manning. This is Coleman trying to replace, and I don't know if anybody on the planet, Chris, can replace Saquon Barkley.
Well, you try, but Saquon is so explosive. You look at the Giants offense, and one thing that Daniel does bring to this, and talking about 9th in rushing yards, that's of course is with Saquon Barkley. but he does and is able to keep plays alive with his feet, and won a game with his feet last week against Tampa. Now, when he hit his drop back point, as Pat Shurmur talked about his ability to run, last week against Tampa, he ran it in from 15 yards out. Regardless of where the ball was snapped, he ran it from 15 yards out. He recognized man coverage, turned a throwing lane into a running lane, and won the game for the Giants.
Third down and 7, and Jones flushed out of the pocket. And a flag comes in. He lets it fly, and it's batted down. Excellent coverage there by Cole Holcomb, the rookie out of North Carolina. But again, a penalty flag down on the play. It'll be holding against the Giants. That play will be declined, one would assume, which would bring up a long field goal try for Rosas.
Holding. Offense number 74. 10-yard penalty. It remains third down.
Referee Alex Kemp in his 6th NFL season, his 2nd as a head referee. His crew has thrown more flags than any other crew in the NFL for the first 3 weeks of this season.
Each team gets a scouting report on the officials, so they know how the game is called, and not only how many flags are thrown, Tom, but what type of flag and what type of penalty is called. You mentioned excellent coverage. The whole back 7, which has been an issue for the Redskins, had excellent coverage on that last play.
So they take the penalty to the Redskins, backs them up 10 yards, and it'll be third down and 17. They lay it off to Gallman Jr. out of the backfield, and he's about a yard short, depending on the spot of a first down, tripped up by the former Giant Pro Bowler Landon Collins. Do you go for it here on 4th down?
I at least go for the hard count. And if you're going to play for Pat Shurmur's offense, the one thing you have to do as a wide receiver is block downfield. Cody Latimer made it possible for Gallman to get 10 extra yards because he is finishing downfield. The little things will help this young quarterback grow and develop.
Latimer missed the Tampa Bay game after suffering a concussion week 2.
Man across the board.
And they snap it. Here comes the blitz. Jones gets it away. First down, completion.
One of the keys about Daniel Jones is, I believe, to be a quarterback in the National Football League, you have to be able to throw out of balance. That means he's going to recognize blitz. He's going to deliver this ball on the back pedal. His feet are not set. His feet aren't pointed at the target. It doesn't matter. When you're able to throw accurate and fade away, that's the sign of a good NFL quarterback. And recognizing blitz and delivering the ball on time to Shepard.
Bring it to Coleman. And that's a dangerous throw right there. Quentin Dunbar nearly stepping in front of that errant pass. It's 2nd down and 10 for the Giants.
Yeah, so Evan Ingram has to run through that. And Dunbar reads the route. So he runs the route better than Ingram. And Evan Ingram kind of slowed up on his route. When you get that cutoff, you have to go through that because your quarterback is going to trust that you are going to be there. It's a great position by Quentin Dunbar. See how Evans stopped Tom? You got to run through him.
Ballman gets a handoff off the right side and slips down to about the 16-yard line. The Redskins on defense, they've allowed 30 or more points in each of the first 3 games this season. First time that's happened in any 3-game stretch since 2013.
They've talked about some of the issues. There's a lot of issues, but the biggest issue, according to Greg Nuski, defensive coordinator, has been lack of communication. There's a communication problem in the back end. If there's a communication problem in the back end, that takes down your whole defense, which creates a whole different mess of mistakes.
Down, Jones looks inside the 5, and the reception made, and becoming the money man now for the Giants. Without Odell Beckham Jr. around anymore is Sterling Shepard.
Now, this is recognizing zone coverage. In zone coverage, you find a soft spot and you sit it down. As a defender, when you're playing that type of zone, they go, hurry up right here.
Ballman wrapped up for a loss of a yard. And there's a penalty flag down.
Now with the Pat Shurmur offense, what you want to do, and with Daniel Jones as your quarterback.
Offside. Defense, number 24 was lined up in the neutral zone. half the distance to the goal line. Still first down.
As we see zone reads in college all the time, the zone read is part of Pat Shurmur's short yardage and goal line offense. And right here, Daniel Jones using his eyes. Now Bostic loses his man. Once a guy enters your zone, even though it's zone coverage, aware players find that man. They turn their zone coverage into man coverage and even front him up. There's no face guarding thing in the NFL. Front him up.
Giants have scored on their first possession in all 3 games. They're knocking on the door, first and goal, and another penalty flag blows it dead.
Delay of game. Offense.
Oh, boy.
5-yard penalty. Still first down.
So instead of first and goal at the 2, they're going to back them up where they were just a moment ago. Just outside the 6, close to the 7.
Now, I saw Pat Shurmur do a full sprint like he was as center for Michigan State, blocking me about 25 yards downfield, trying to get the timeout.
Nobody could block you.
Well, he was pretty darn good. I'll give you that. And actually, he ran a lot faster. Pat, you're faster than that. If you want the timeout, a little more effort. A little more
being
effort.
committed.
I don't want to
borrow your term. All right, first and goal now. They play this drive after the takeaway, the interception. Wide open and into the end zone is Coleman Jr.
Well, when you have a rookie, you can exploit rookies. Number 55 for the Redskins, Cole Holcomb. He's going to lose his feet, and he's in man coverage, and he's going to take his eyes off the coverage. He's going to come out here with Ballman coming, then he's going to fall down. And, you know, I get it. He's a good young player. But by reading that quarterback's eyes, and you know that you have that outside leverage, as Ballman gets wide, you need to get wide, and you can't lose your feet, or that's a big play.
Point after is good, so his first series as a starter on the home front. They get a takeaway, and Jones a touchdown pass to Gallman. Well, if you've spent 5 minutes around Eli Manning, anybody who wondered how he would handle all of this, he may not be happy about it, but come on, this is a first-class pro in every way, shape, and form.
Yeah, so, you know, around the league we have, all right, bring it up, everybody, a lot of 1-2-3 me guys. Well, Eli's never been a 1-2-3 me. He's all been a 1-2-3 team, and he understands his role. It's changed. He's going to do what's best for the Giants, not what's best for Eli.
And for more on that relationship and then some, here's Shannon.
Yeah, Tom, Chris, John Halapio, the center, he told me that Eli really has set the tone, not just externally, but inside the locker room. They give him a ton of credit for the way that this has gone down. He said there's been 0 distraction inside that locker room, which you guys know is huge.
Yeah, you know, and that being said, too, Tom and Shannon, I mean, I don't know why it's such a big deal. Oh, look how great Eli. Well, of course he's handled that because he's not a me guy. He's always been a team guy.
In the last 4 quarters in one series, Case Keenum has turned the football over 6 times.
Ryan Conley, Tom, yeah, Case. But Ryan Conley making his presence known. He was calling the plays this week with the absence of Alec Ogletree. Remember, he's a former high school quarterback in Eden Prairie. And to tell you what type of athlete is, I mean, your kids play lacrosse. He was a midfielder at that size. And he's been a nice surprise. And he's only going to get better with the more reps. And I know that James Betcher, the defensive coordinator, certainly trusts Ryan to make the right call for his defense.
Well, a lot of good football players that come out of the University of Wisconsin. Second down and 8. Wide receiver screen to Richardson and looking for blocking, looking for help. Janoris Jenkins along with David Mayo, who's in there getting a start for Ogletree. It'll bring up 3rd down for the Redskins. This Giants defense talked about all the yards they've given up. Gave up 94 points, the same as the Redskins. Only the Dolphins have given up more through the first 3 games of the year.
This is where they have to get off the field. If he decides to bring 5 or more, somebody has to win their one-on-one battle, and that's not been the case early on in the seasons for this Giants defense.
They clock down to 3, and Keenan just does get it off. Protection holds up well. And that is Thompson, one of the real dynamic, when healthy, third down backs in the NFL. He's a good player. First down, Redskins.
So you take all your linebackers off, and we got DBs in here. Well, these DBs have to understand and be aware of where the sticks are. Chris Thompson's a crafty guy, excellent football player. Again, recognizing the zone coverage, instead of carrying it across into another zone, sits in the hole of the zone. Case Keenum moving his body, he gets clear vision to his target, executed well, and good pass protection by that Skins offensive line.
Keenum has started for 5 different teams through 7 years. He's been a starter full-time each of the last 2 years, and a flag comes in after a pretty good pickup by Peterson. Of course, Keenum led Minnesota to a 12-4 record 2 years ago.
Holding. Offense number 74. 10-yard penalty. First down.
That's Christian who's in there, and they brought in an extra offensive lineman.
Well, playing tight end.
But Keenum, you may remember, I mean, he had the big year playing for your brother, the general manager of the Minnesota Vikings, Rick Spielman, and they went 12-4, went to the playoffs, had the Minneapolis Miracle on the game-winning touchdown pass to Stephon Diggs. His time expired, got beat a week later in the championship game.
They're just discombobulated. I mean,
Ball start. Offense number 72. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
That's a veteran, Donald Penn, who, of course, is replacing one of the game's great left tackles, and Trent Williams, who continues to hold out.
now, and here's the thing with the Redskins, no matter who's in the ball game, and you talk to Jay Group, everything, a lot of it's self-inflicted. Like, they've moved the football. That was a good first down play by Adrian Peterson, but then you get a holding call. That's been the case all year, early on in this season.
All right, it's still first down, and they dump it off across the middle to Wendell Smallwood, the former Philadelphia Eagle. Redskins just picked him up on the first day of September after the Eagles cut him loose.
That's too soft. You know, the rule is one front, one in behind. Smallwood was sitting in front, and he had Richardson coming across the middle behind. Got to be able to take that zone coverage and turn it into man coverage once a guy declares in your zone.
Second down, 4-man rush. And it breaks down, and picking up the sack, the big fella, Dexter Lawrence. The rookie out of Clemson had a little help from your guy, Conley.
Well, Dexter Lawrence has great vision. You talk about what's a D lineman need vision? Well, he needs vision to be able to come off of blocks and find Case Keenum. Right there's the rip. Now he's not going to quit on the play. Come back and retrace your steps. He's able to lay out to get Keenum down. Big third down here. Can they get pressure? Janoris Jenkins, remember, picked on last week, calls the pick this week. Number 20.
For the rookie Lawrence, he now has sacks in back-to-back games. 4-man rush again, and Keenum scrambling away from trouble, looking down the field, and he'll just have to throw it out of bounds. The duo of Lawrence and Golden applying the heat. Boy, there is so much pressure on this offensive line for the Redskins with the injuries to Roulier, who's an outstanding player. Sheriff is a Pro Bowl player. Darius Geis, a running back, already out. McLaurin out. Not even to mention Jordan Reed out. And Trent Williams a holdout.
That's certainly challenging, but nobody cares. That's the reality of it. The men have to produce.
Great punt. Juggled back there by T.J. Jones, and he'll just fall on top of it at the 5-yard line. Well done by Trussway. Jones, a big start, 5 of 6 and a touchdown. Life's funny, isn't it? Daniel Jones, as a young boy, wore the uniform of his favorite quarterback. You got it, Eli Manning. And of course, those Daniel Jones jerseys are everywhere. But take a look at this, Chris.
Price tag. I wonder if that guy, if Daniel happens to throw 3 interceptions this game, if he's taking that back. That's not commitment. You got a price tag on your jersey. You're not committed.
Oh, no.
You got to take it off. You're all in. No takebacks.
That's not how it works around here. That's not how it works. I mean, the expectations are very, very high. And, Chris, you know that one day, and we talked about it a little while ago, I mean, you are the man in New York, and greater New York. And then all of a sudden you throw 2 or 3 picks. You get beat at the end of the game. You're in the doghouse.
And I think Daniel is like Eli Manning in that manner where he doesn't waver. I mean, he's very calm, collected, mature, doesn't let things get to him. You have to be that way as a quarterback.
There's Ballman. And he's bottled up close to the 14-yard line, and we check in for the first time today with Kurt Menefee. Hi, Kurt.
Hello, Tom. I don't think it's crazy to say Baker Mayfield's personality a little bit different than Eli's and Daniel Jones, but he's living up to it on the opening drive against Baltimore. 7 of 8, 87 yards passing, and that touchdown to Ricky Seals-Jones gives them a 7-0 lead on the road.
Baker actually rolled left there. Remember, that's a big scouting report. Anytime he gets in trouble, bails to the right.
Third down and 2. Blitz coming. Jones gets it away, and it's caught for a first down to Evan Ingram. And for Ingram, that's his first catch of the afternoon. Having a big-time year, healthy again.
That's a matchup they'll take all day. Evan Ingram on Collins. Collins' one liability is a little bit of coverage, just a little bit of an option route right there. And Daniel Jones will identify the matchups because he understands the offense and where to attack. And Collins slips again, and Evan Ingram is outstanding run after catch. He delivered a blow to Collins too after that.
Well, they used to go against one another in practice. All the both players were asked about it during the week, and then was dropped by Ellison. 2nd down and 10 coming up. And, I mean, look no further with Jones just going back to the draft. The morning after. I mean, wondering what in the world. Blues Clueless, Blue Who? And then those same papers. Ah, yes, indeed. Dynamite, new man in town. Hope for the Giants. How about that?
You know, the thing is, and the best quality that he has that nobody talks about is that his teammates believe in him, and what it did for him coming back from behind last week, lead them to victory, is huge.
Ullman picks up a yard. It'll bring up 3rd down. You know, the Washington defense on 3rd down, and it's certainly worth noting. Opponents are converting 64% of the time. That is a staggering number.
And it's a number of things. It's not maintaining rush lanes. It's not being disciplined in your coverage. But the biggest thing is Coach Manusky told us is the lack of communication. Now everybody's got to be on the same page in the back 7, or you're susceptible to big plays.
Well, they're 2 of 3 of the Giants so far on 3rd down, but not this time. There is a penalty flag, however, on the near sideline. A sack for Matt Ioannidis. He had 7.5 of those a year ago. Also had help from Daron Payne, the #1 pick from last year out of Alabama.
While the quarterback had the ball, holding. Defense number 31. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down, Giants.
That is a killer. Fabian Moreau missed the first 2 games with an ankle injury. It started for Dunbar last week.
I believe the holding is going to take place right here. Yeah, I mean, it is holding. I think it's a light hold. But when you play the officials that are leading the league and throwing flags, you know that going in. But that just seems to be the story of the Redskins.
Quick slant to Shepard. He crosses midfield to the Redskins' 45-yard line. A gain of 23 to Sterling Shepard.
When you play in the back end, you can't fall down. We already saw that guy fall down earlier. Now watch Moreau. He's going to fall down. And when you fall down, it's just easy pitch and catch for Daniel Jones to Shepard. I mean, that's twice that we saw Redskins in the back end lose their feet. When you lose your feet in the back seven, equals big play for the offense.
They hurry right up to the line of scrimmage, and the first carry for John Hilliman. Young man who grew up in Plainfield, New Jersey, a huge Giants fan, elevated from the practice squad this week. So welcome to the NFL, Mr. Hilliman. 7-0 Giants into the opening quarter. You're watching the NFL on Fox. Frequently bloodied and battered, but so dependable, the great Y.A. Tittle. Giants quarterback in the early 1960s, inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1971. At the 45, it is Hilliman for a second time, and he'll be about a yard and a half short of the first down. Well, how about Jones in the opening quarter here in his first start of the home front? 12 of 19 in Tampa Bay last week without a touchdown. 7 of his first 9, 77 in the touchdown pass to Gallman in the opening quarter today. Down and 2, and Jones looking around and once again finding an open receiver, and it's another first down. There's a penalty flag down. That catch made by the rookie Darius Slayton out of Auburn. And the penalties against Washington.
So when you're struggling on defense, you're struggling with confidence. So when you have confidence problems in the back end, the things you start to do is panic, and panic causes this right here.
Defense number 20. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
And this is a mismatch that they will take all day long. They isolated on this in practice, and right now I don't see the holding call, and I think that's a bad call because Ingram created that collision, but he's got to be stronger and anticipate that collision's coming. Man, that's a questionable call.
First down at the 32-yard line, and Jones rolling right, being chased, throws across his body, and a catch made by Shepard. That was Ryan Anderson trying to chase down Jones, but he is such an outstanding athlete.
So think about what opens up in the playbook for Pat Shurmur when you have a guy that can do this as opposed to Eli, and everybody knows that that's not a play that Eli was going to run, but with Daniel Jones, you're able to put that and insert that into the game plan.
Back into the game is Gallman, and he is inside the 5. It'll be first and goal. Took a big hit at the end of that run by Monte Nicholson. A penalty flag again on the field as Josh Norman appears to be shaken up. A 22-yard run by Gallman trying to fill those big shoes of Barkley.
Face mask. Defense number 24. After distance in the goal line. First down.
So that's adding insult to injury for Norman.
When you have a crackback block, you have to replace, and you become the outside contain. Right here, you're going to get the crackback block right there by Fowler. Norman's late to recognize. Then he ended up in chase mode. So that's how you eliminate an edge player in man-to-man. You run him on a crackback. If he does not see the crackback, then he's going to play. He'll give up the edge.
Jimmy Moreland, the rookie out of James Madison, went on the field, now coming back off the field. First and goal for the Giants. Gallman up and over the top. It took a big-time hit. Well played by John Bostic, it appeared.
It's an outstanding job. Now, Bostic is only clear to make that hit because these guys get lower than these guys, which allows Bostic to have room to go over the top. They do not create.
Wasn't Bostic, that's my fault.
And Payne, Deron Payne, both of them.
And then Holcomb, a linebacker, the one who delivered the big hit. I thought it was Bostic. 12 plays on this drive. Tack on one more, trying to get to the end zone, and another penalty flag down. Boy, this crew has certainly earned its reputation through the first 3 games of this year.
while the quarterback still had the ball. Holding. Defense number 35. Half the distance from the goal line. First down.
It's Monte Nicholson.
No. So you got to cover Ingram, right? So Collins wasn't covering us, so they put Nicholson on him. Now that's a legitimate hold right there. That's a legitimate hold. The first two, and that one, yes.
First two what?
The first two holding, defensive holdings. No, not good. Back calls.
First and goal. And Goldman into the end zone for the second time today. One receiving and one rushing. And Daniel Jones has had 2 drives to start his home debut as a starting quarterback, and both resulting in touchdowns.
When you have a pulling lineman, Tom, and he's not even touched, and he has nobody block, that's winning the line of scrimmage. Look at Will Hernandez come through. There's nobody for him to block. There's nobody meeting him in the hole. He scores. I mean, I've never really seen a guy that's pulling on the goal line that has nobody to make contact with. That's a first.
Point after is good, and the Giants are rolling. 3 minutes into this second quarter and a 14-0 lead over Washington. It's a 94-yard drive, 13 plays, and indeed congratulations from Eli to Daniel Jones. That's the Giants' longest scoring drive 4 weeks into this 2019 season. Saw Josh Norman leave a moment ago. Getting some road work in on that bike, trying to stay loose or get loose. Sims will bring it out from the goal line. And a poor decision there. He's dropped at the 18. And let's send it back to our good friend Carissa Thompson.
Thank you so much, Tom. Lions up 3-0 on the Chiefs when Matt Stafford finds rookie tight end TJ Hawkinson for this 5-yard score, his second of the year. Chiefs right now in the red zone. Keep you updated. Lions up 10-0. Tom?
All right, Carissa, thank you.
Lions, good team.
They are. We saw them last week beat Philly.
On the road, and the roster that Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia's built is the best roster they've had in a couple years. 3 years, in my opinion.
I'll tell you what, you've got to give Stafford a lot like Eli Manning. I mean, never misses a start. Stafford is beat up all over his body going into that game today. So we know the Giants made the move to go with Jones as Thompson takes it off the right side. And many wondered as a flag comes in very late again. We wondered after the 0-3 start.
Holding. Offense number 76. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
And that's Morgan Moses, who was the single most penalized offensive lineman in the NFL a year ago. But, you know, Chris, we wondered after the 5-turnover game by Keenum, an 0-3 start, would they turn to the #1 pick out of Ohio State, who went, of course, 9 picks after Daniel Jones, and that's Dwayne Haskins.
Well, there's a couple issues that you talk about in talking to Jay Gruden that he's not quite ready yet. So you don't want to throw a young guy out there, all right, with 2 linemen that are out, with your best receiver, his teammate at Ohio State, McLaurin, out. You want to make sure and give him every chance to succeed, every opportunity to succeed. And I don't know if he can do that. And if he's not ready, he's not ready. I mean, that's your future. That's not today. And of course, Jay's biggest reason, he said it in a press conference this week, he told us in our meeting that he feels Case Keenum right now is the best chance to win the football game. Now, that could change next week.
And adding further to the drama is Colt McCoy getting healthier and healthier, because by all accounts, he was a leader in the clubhouse before getting injured, coming all the way back from that broken leg, which has required a number of surgeries and complications since then, that he would have been a starter from the get-go anyway.
Agreed.
Crossing pattern, and that is Trey Quinn. Not much of a gain there, close to the spotted just outside the 20, so it'll bring up 3rd down and 9.
And right now, you look at the Redskins and their skilled players, their receivers, right? Who's a threat?
Yep.
Like last week, you had Mike Evans at Tampa. Who scares you on that man's offense on the edges? There's not one guy that scares me because I don't see a #1 guy out there.
McLaurin is such an outstanding looking young player. Another Ohio State Buckeye.
Be aware of Chris Thompson, always a threat on third down.
Four-man rush. And it is Thompson, but he will be denied first down yardage. Haley has really played well for the Giants. I mean, the two other corners, Baker and Jenkins, have been shredded frequently the first couple of weeks. But Haley has played quite well.
He's a solid addition, and you know you can never have enough corners in this league. That's for certain, with all the nickel and dime coverages that are played.
Played in 10 games, 9 as a starter to Grant Haley out of Penn State a year ago. College free agent when they picked him up from the Nittany Lions. Crestway puts a foot on it. We're down to 9-12, and now bobbled by Jones, who's had some problems. A couple of bobbles for Jones.
Find somebody new. That's 2.
Are you saying get him out?
Get him out. That's 2.
Some of the greats in Giants history. The great Frank Gifford, LT. Oh, goodness. Bill Parcells. And, of course, our very own Mr. Michael Strahan. Parcells used to light up some guys for not getting the job done. It appears Gruden's doing the same thing.
I think right there you got to coach and tell them, look, we're in this. It's early in the ball game. We just got to make some plays and get something going and stop killing ourselves with dumb penalties, inopportune time penalties.
Redskins have 1 first down. Handed off to Shepard. He has been Mr. Everything today, and he's all the way up to the 40-yard line.
Well, again, it starts out with receivers blocking. This is just a jet sweep, and I believe that's Benny Fowler out there handling Dunbar. And you see, the thing I love about Shepard, Tom, he could have run out of bounds there, avoided contact. Not him. He's taking it up and checking it inside.
That's a 23-yard gain for Shepard on his 3rd carry of this season. Oh, what a good player he is.
Give it to him.
Jones took a big hit, and it's intercepted. Quentin Dunbar is caught from behind at the 47-yard line, and Jones throws his first interception. Took a big hit from Tim Settle, and that unsettled the throw. Redskins in business.
Well, Daniel Jones will show you his toughness, but this ball is late. It's a zone coverage. He has to deliver the ball inside the zone. And I'll tell you, Dunbar does a good job of dropping his zone coverage, come up and make the pick, reading Jones. That's the first mistake he made. That was a mental mistake, not a physical mistake on Jones's part.
First down, Keenum wide open down the middle of the field, and he overthrew Trey Quinn. That should have been a touchdown. And the second time in this game, actually, that Keenum has missed on a touchdown.
Yeah, he had him open in the first play of the game, so you come back to it. Trey Quinn has his man beat off the line of scrimmage. They're in one deep coverage. He's wide open. And then you want to know why the Redskins are 0-3? Because right now the Redskins are a team of almost. Man, we almost had a play there. We would have had a play there, but we had a penalty. It's an almost team. And you can't be an almost team and give away opportunities and expect to compete in this league.
Second down and 10. They faked the pass and handed off to Thompson, which did not fool the Giants. They'll bring up 3rd down and 9, if not 10, depending on the spot.
Well, this is what I'm talking about being late. You're going to see Sterling Shepard coming across right here, right at the hash mark. That ball needs to be delivered. That little extra pump, I think, causes the ball to be late, and it's a really outstanding job by Quentin Dunbar. He was in a 3 deep. He comes off his coverage. Because the ball was late, he was able to step in front. Big 3rd down for the Redskins here to get something going, to capitalize on a turnover, something.
Well, they only had 1 first down through nearly an entire half of play. And Keenum steps up, throws incomplete. And the Redskins, after getting the takeaway, go 3 and out. And you start to wonder a little bit now, does Jay Gruden consider turning to Dwayne Haskins?
I think you won't do that until halftime. But here's the thing, Jabril Peppers, right? We talked about T.J. Jones had an opportunity, dropped 2 punch.
You said it.
Can't trust you.
So they brought back Peppers, who was such a great returning man at Michigan, and he feels it cleanly. Jay Gruden, Case Keenum looking for answers. 1 first down in the first half. MetLife Stadium opened its doors in 2010, already playing host to a Super Bowl. Of course, was right here on Fox. Take a look at this. Total yards offensively, 47 for the Redskins, 33 yards in penalties.
2 of those offensive holdings were bad calls, and so, but I'm not, that's still fun.
Roman's had a nice day, and he's up to the 21-yard line. Let's check in downstairs with Shannon.
Well, Tom, you saw Josh Norman on the sideline. He is playing through some discomfort. You see him continuing to favor that right knee. Ryan Kerrigan, who has had so much success against this Giants team, he told me this week that they haven't played a full 60 minutes. He said, we have to stop things from snowballing, and certainly that pick went far in doing that.
Well, and when you get in a situation like this and your offense is struggling, you made a play, now you got to make another play as they see man across the board.
5 coming after Jones, and he underthrows it again, and for a second time it's Dunbar who picks it off. So after 2 touchdown drives for the Giants, it's now back-to-back drives ending on interceptions thrown by Daniel Jones.
Well, Quentin Dunbar is stepping up to the challenge because Shepard is a tough cover, gets on his hip and undercuts the route. And again, with that ball is late, as you see, Dwayne Haskins is now going to come into the ball game for the Washington Redskins.
Dwayne Haskins. 9 picks after Daniel Jones in last year's draft. Grew up in Potomac, Maryland. Spent a little bit of his childhood in the greater New York area, but he's a Maryland kid through and through. They are confirming this interception. There's no debate about that one, at least from that angle anyway. So here is Dwayne Haskins. 14 career starts for the Ohio State Buckeyes last year. He threw a whopping 50 touchdowns. He led all of college football in touchdown passes and in passing yards. And he hands off the ball on first down, and powerful running by the 34-year-old Adrian Peterson on first down. Chris, you saw this guy play all the time at your alma mater. I'm not sure a college quarterback could have had a better year than Dwayne Haskins did for Ohio State last year.
No, he's just really natural and easy thrower of the football, right? We talked about Daniel Jones being able to be accurate when he's off balance. Dwayne Haskins certainly possesses that ability. That's a heck of a job by the offensive line of the Redskins, unblocking.
And Peterson looking for that extra yard, which would give him a first down. It appears as though he has enough.
The one thing you do, so when you have an Adrian Peterson, so that, the quarterback change energizes things just by how the offensive line fired off the ball. And if there's one vulnerability of that Giants front 7, is that they do tend to play a little bit high. In a good offensive line, if they're in sync, can change that line of scrimmage to +2 yards down the field in the offense's favor.
And that's what we were talking about last year. Haskins was simply spectacular at Ohio State. And it was his only year as a starter. And J.T. Barrett, who was a 4-year starter there for Urban Meyer. And a throw well out of the end zone. A penalty flag is down behind the line of scrimmage.
That's a chance.
Illegal formation. Offense. There was no end on the right side of the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. First down.
All right, now let me ask you, Chris Spielman, is that the responsibility of a quarterback to pick that up under center?
No, you guys have to be able to line up and help yourselves out. He's busy surveying downfield the defense. He had Sprinkle wide open in the flat. He got a little bit greedy there. If I'm Dwayne and I'm Jay, I'll tell Jay, hey, Dwayne, take the easy throw. It's right there. There was a 6-yard gain to be had and an easy throw. He went for it all. Easy throw.
Haskins attended the Bullis School in Potomac, Maryland. And they pitch it to Thompson. And Mayo comes up to make the tackle. Haley also in on a stop. You know, the story was told so many times. Haskins grew up in Maryland as a huge Ohio State fan. He used to attend the Ohio State University football camps as a kid. He used to walk around with Ohio State jerseys and hats and all that kind of thing. It was a great story last year watching that being told week in and week out.
Well, the thing I love about him is he's genuinely confident. Not cocky, confident. He believes in his ability.
Haskins steps in there, delivers a strike. And so he finds Kelvin Harmon, the rookie out of NC State, on the throw for an 11-yard pickup. Haskins.
Watch him survey the field. He's going to use his eyes and move people. Knows where his outlet is, and he has that ability to change how he delivers the ball with different arm angles. Another quality that you like to see in a young quarterback.
Down to 4 minutes to go. It is a 3rd down and 6 for Washington. The NFL debut in the regular season of Dwayne Haskins. Can he get him a first down? And the throw is right there. It is a first down to Trey Quinn. Well, really, depending on the spot that he get there, it appears as though this is very, very close.
Outstanding in mid-air adjustment by Trey Quinn. Remember, he was hurt all of last year, so they're playing with new wide receivers. Good breakout and going up at the highest point, turning those hips, then stretching for the first down at the very end. Watch him reach that football right there.
They're going to review this, and they're going to review the spot. That looks like a first down. But for one team, the quarterback gave him a spark and a big-time come-from-behind win a week ago. And now, all of a sudden, a big-time spark, at least on this drive for Washington. Bringing in Dwayne Haskins. They've already picked up 2 first downs. That was ruled a first down on the throw and catch to Quinn. After the Redskins had 1 first down before Haskins came into the game. Former Maryland 2-time high school football player of the year, Dwayne Haskins Jr. Peterson. And just nothing there. That was Jabril Peppers calling all the way up to the secondary to wrap him up and take him down.
That's a much better job of that front 7. We talk sometimes their tendency to play high and get knocked back. That time they win the battle at the line of scrimmage, create a giant blue wall. Nowhere to go for Adrian. See right there, there's nowhere to go. Blue wall. Build it. Build that blue wall across that line of scrimmage.
Second down. Haskins rolling right. And he will run, and Haskins inside the 5. Spins his way to the 1-yard line. And that was something as Ohio State season went on last year that Urban Meyer wanted to see Haskins do more of.
Yeah, and Dwayne started doing more of that, and this is good recognition because as he rolls out, he does a good job of keeping his eyes downfield, but when he sees everybody vacating, you see green, trust your legs. He is a good athlete, just needs to trust that. Outstanding response by the young rookie from Ohio State. Dwayne Haskins, look, he doesn't slide. Now, as his future grows, he'll go down to a slide and he'll avoid that spin move.
Yeah, but not your first time in the NFL, big fella, sniffing that goal line.
Go get the touchdown.
And for many that watch college football, Haskins last year, the early part of the season, they were dropping back and throwing all the time, which really isn't an Urban Meyer offense. And he felt like Haskins was a good enough athlete where he could run the ball a little more frequently to keep teams honest.
Well, he came really effective, and it could be effective here with the zone read. Now, it's different than the RPO. A zone read is a design run, and Dwayne Haskins was effective running that in short yardage in a situation like we have here, goal line. See Ryan Anderson. Ryan Anderson, number 52, is in at fullback.
They play fake it. And a lofted pass to the end zone and broken up. Good closing coverage that time by Peppers. They were looking for Jeremy Sprinkle in the back of the end zone.
Yeah, it's a well-thrown ball, but I'm telling you, Peppers plays this as well as you can play it. Clear and run, running to his man, not looking back at the quarterback, which is smart, and going up and playing through the hands of the wide receiver. Outstanding effort, Jabril. Well done.
First incompletion by Haskins. Of course, he used to play against Peppers when he was at Michigan. Peterson. And there's that wall you were talking about being built by that giant front seven. 3rd and goal.
Well, remember when the Giants scored a touchdown, their pooler was able to run through the hole. That time the Giants were able to meet the offensive pooler coming from the right side. And Flowers knocking him back, cutting off any penetration. See Michael Thomas celebrating number 31 because he was the one that did the job of forcing Peterson to cut it back in.
Thomas had that huge play against Tampa Bay last week, which forced the Redskins to come up with a stop, or the Giants come up with a stop rather, and set up the game-winning touchdown drive. All right, so now 3rd and goal here, Chris Spielman, after a Giants timeout. They'll change the game clock at 2:20. Let's quickly go to Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. So battle of the first-round quarterbacks in the 2018 draft. Ravens trailing 7-0. Lamar Jackson buys some time, finds rookie Miles Boykin for that 9-yard score. We are all tied up at 7 in Baltimore. Tom?
All right, Chris, what are you thinking here on 3rd and goal?
Well, I'm thinking I got 2 plays to get 7. I'm not kicking field goals. I'm trying to get points on the board.
Really?
I'm on the road. You struggle offensively. I got a rookie quarterback.
And Haskins will call a timeout. That'll be the first used this half by the Redskins, and we're back after this message from Progressive. Here we go. 9 plays, 34 yards. 3rd down and goal for Haskins in his NFL debut. Four-man rush to the end zone and incomplete. Had an eye on Vernon Davis, and again it's Peppers in coverage, and now decision time for Jay Gruden.
He's taking the 3.
He's going to take the field goal unit and send them to the field.
Right here, Vernon Davis is open. The ball's just a little high and away. That's the one where you want to throw it low and away, and that's a missed opportunity. That might not be, that's not considered open in college and NFL. That's wide open. He'll make that throw 9 out of 10 times moving forward.
Alrighty, so now the field goal try by Hopkins. She'll be from 21 yards out, and it is good. So a little breath of life for this Washington Redskins offense, with Haskins taking over his final drive, or perhaps final drive, of this opening half for Washington. 3 points on the board. Friday Night SmackDown premieres on Fox in just 5 days. Right up your alley, Chris Spielman.
There you go.
Star-studded 20th anniversary event. Hulk Hogan, Roman Reigns, The Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Friday Night SmackDown, Friday, 7:30 Eastern. And Chris Spielman, you've been a part of the WWE.
I was a veteran. WrestleMania 11. I entered that square circle. I saw Tatanka across the ring, and I'm helping LT off after a battle with Bam Bam Bigelow.
Well, you talk about 3
Reggie.
men. I mean, you've got LT, and the late, great Reggie White.
I was honored to be in the
you're
corner.
running with the big leaguers.
I had LT's back. None of Ted DiBiase's $1 Million Men, they were going to sneak up on LT. You had to watch him. You couldn't trust Ted DiBiase.
Really?
Yeah. Or Virgil, the bodyguard. Either or. Couldn't trust him.
Virgil, the bodyguard.
When he buys a lot of things, bodyguards.
Virgil, the bodyguard. I'll tell you who needs a bodyguard is Carissa Thompson. Help me out here, please.
Well, I love Kevin Costner, Tom. Chiefs trailing 10-3 in Detroit. Patrick Mahomes hands it off to LaShawn McCoy, who scores from 1 yard out. McCoy's 3rd over the last 2 games. We are all tied up, Tom, at 10.
All right, Chris, you saw the Giants spend a timeout with 2:20 left to go, thinking they were going to give it one more shot to get some points on the board here with Jones. But now all of a sudden, do you start wondering about the confidence a little bit of Jones?
No, I think you can. I think you got to let him go out and play.
All in on 1st down across the 30 up to the 31-yard line. And this will take us to the 2-minute warning. 14-3 Giants. You're watching the NFL on Fox. Daniel Jones' first 2 drives of the game, 9 of 11, 89 yards and a couple of touchdowns. The last 2 drives, 0 for 2, and has thrown 2 interceptions.
I think you find 88, Evan Ingram, right in the slot. There he is.
Took a big hit and thrown behind Ingram. Better coverage that time. It was Bostic who dropped into coverage, and it brings up 3rd down, and now the Redskins might be thinking about getting the football back.
I absolutely take it. And Evan Ingram is a comfort for Daniel Jones as he's working one-on-one with Bostic, and that's good coverage by Bostic. Getting a little bit physical and does not get knocked off his coverage because he's a bigger, stronger guy.
I tell you, applied the heat there. One of the real interesting players in this recently adjusted roster for the Redskins is Noah Spence. He delivered the big hit that last time. Put it down, and that's enough for a first down. And again, it is Shepard when you need a completion for Daniel Jones today.
Well, those are 2 good guys that surround Daniel Jones as his growth. When you can put an Ingram and Shepard around him, it's good news.
1:35 to go, looking down the field for intercepted. No, in and out of the hands of Norman. Had an eye down the field on Benny Fowler III, and it was underthrown. That should have been intercepted by Norman.
Yeah, Josh Norman. A lot of people said he's in his decline. I'll tell you, this is outstanding coverage. And again, to be able to have the speed to close, then undercut and go play the football, just a missed opportunity by Josh. It would have been a tough interception, but one that he's certainly capable of making.
Looked like he just had the wind knocked out of him. He came down right on top of that football and just trying to catch his breath for a second.
And one thing when you're throwing deep and there's not a safety behind you, one thing Daniel Jones can do is always have that rule: if you're long, you're never wrong. Let your guy get it or nobody gets it. Anytime you underthrow that, there's a chance that a guy like Josh Norman, who's been around a while, has had success, can make a play. There's an almost there. Another almost for the Redskins.
Well, it looks like Norman's going to have to come off the field.
Well, he was.
He's going to stay on the field. They charge the Redskins with an injury timeout, which means he can't stay on the field. 2nd down. Crossing pattern by Ingram is he has a big gainer inside the 35, and a penalty flag comes in.
This is so hard to cover when you can isolate Evan Ingram on a linebacker, and he runs what we call an option route. He's going to come inside, stop, go out, come back in, and Holcomb has no shot at it in the speed of Evan Ingram.
For an illegal block in the back. Holcomb plays a first down.
As the flag was originally thrown on Slayton, but just, you know, with the speed, Tom, coming out, he ran a 4.4. You get the ball into his hands in space, he does damage. After that 75-yarder against Tampa Bay last week.
So 31-yard gain on the completion to Ingram. Number 2 among NFL tight ends coming into this week in receiving yards. Couple of 100-yard games. And it's first down for the Giants. They set up the screen, and that did not fool the Washington defense. And there's Noah Spence. We brought up his name a little while ago. We'll talk more about him later as the Giants are trying to get up to the line of scrimmage here in the final minute of this opening half.
Yeah, they try to run a screen versus man coverage, and if you don't get that block on that second level, the screen will die.
Bowman out of the backfield shakes one tackle, and he'll pick up an extra 6-7 yards and very close to the first down. That's just a blown tackle over there by the rookie Cole Holcomb.
Yeah, Holcomb does have him in his sights, and Gallman's getting playing time, right? So he's not going to go out of bounds. He runs through the tackle, and if Holcomb puts his head in front of the ball carrier instead of behind, I promise you he'll make that tackle.
First down, 25 seconds left, and this is Hilliman. And the rookie will pick up a couple of yards and The Giants will spend a timeout, their final timeout of this opening half. And coming up right around the corner will be our Visa halftime. How about it, Kurt Menefee?
Coming up on the Visa halftime, the Browns are trying to pull out a win in Baltimore. The Patriots look to hand the Bills their first loss, and the Raiders attempt to upset the Colts. It's all next on the Visa halftime.
Well, you look at that New England team, 3-0 on the year. They've looked incredible. Having said that, the 3 teams they've beaten do not have a single win so far this year.
Well, they'll get tested today. You got the Bills. Bill Belichick still can coach some defense. He doesn't need a defensive coordinator.
Oh, no.
I'm my own guy.
That's exactly right. Did it up here in New York.
Yep.
Under Bill Parcells. Second down and 7, under a minute to go, and Jones is going to run it. He ran a couple of them last week, and he'll take a hit, making his way out of bounds right at the 5-yard line. First and goal for the Giants. 11 seconds left in a half.
So this is something, obviously, that Giants fans with the great Eli Manning would not do. Daniel Jones will put pressure on a defense like nobody else. If you're not disciplined in your pass rush lanes, like jumping in the air, he'll take that throwing lane, turn it into a running lane, and put great pressure on a back 7 of a defense. Eli didn't do it. Just didn't do it.
All right, so the Giants out of timeouts. 11 seconds remain. Third trip inside the red zone. Already a couple of touchdowns for the Giants. And it's too tall for Ingram. Another penalty flag comes in. Boy, this game has just been drenched in yellow. All over the field.
The quarterback had the ball. Holding. Defense number 31. Half the distance to the goal line. Automatic first down.
The second time they've gotten Fabian Moreau.
You're asked to play a lot of man coverage. He'll be in your slot here. Down to the bottom of your screen over Fowler. Let's see, as Fowler's with a slow release. I can't see it there. I can't see it there. He's got his hands on him. RPO. Don't read. Be alert.
7 seconds left. They've got to put it in the air, into the corner. And that's just not going to work. And, of course, there's a flag. Well, it's every play. So far, it seems like when a ball goes into the air. But this time, Dunbar, at least, is saying it's going to go against the Giants.
Yeah, we'll see. In Latimer, number 12, trying to create space.
Offense, number 12. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Good job by Dunbar. Take a look at the top of your screen. Number 12, Latimer, working. And there is... Nah, I don't see it, man. I mean, I don't see it as the kick comes in. Both of them had their hands on each other, Tom. Let them play a little bit. Not getting paid by the flag.
So they're, well, I'm not so sure. So they're going to go ahead and send out the field goal unit. And this is Rosas from 30 yards out. He has been so good. And that one just does sneak inside the left upright. Oh, my. So an impressive cap off for Daniel Jones, who led 2 touchdown drives to start the game, threw a couple of interceptions, and now gets him down the field for just that much for the 3 points. Giants get the ball to begin the second half. We go to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles. The Visa halftime begins right now. Wide open and into the end zone is Gallman Jr. First and goal. And Gallman into the end zone for the second time today. First 2 drives of the game for Daniel Jones. Touchdown drives. Big story for the Redskins. Dwayne Haskins comes into the game to take over for Case Keenum. Are you surprised?
I know they were struggling mightily, and I don't know if Case Keenum's foot is bothering him, but just like with Daniel Jones, when the Redskins were able to capitalize on a turnover with Dwayne Haskins getting 3 points on the board, But with young quarterbacks, you have to understand, as a fan and as a coaching staff, you got to live and ride the highs, and you got to ride the lows. There are going to be mistakes made. Daniel Jones had 2 late throws, which resulted into an interception by the Redskins. Now let's see how Dwayne Haskins responds. One thing about Dwayne, I know that he's a better game player than he is a practice player, and we'll see if that carries through. At least in college he was. We'll see if that carries on through the NFL.
Of course, Haskins is wearing the legendary number 7, which was given approval by the great Joe Theismann. It's not an officially retired jersey, number 7, for the Redskins. And Haskins, just and his family, incredible appreciation with having grown up in Potomac, Maryland, and knowing all about Joe Theismann. Let's go downstairs to Shannon.
All right, so what is the plan for the quarterback situation for the Redskins in the second half? Well, Jay Gruden said they're going to start with Haskins and see if he can provide a spark. I asked him if we might see Case Keenum in the second half. He would not commit either way. He said that's not the way he wants to coach the second half, but he kind of said we'll see. Now, on the other side, obviously, Daniel Jones. Pat Shurmur told me, quote, he's in it. He's really gave a lot of credit to the Redskins secondary, but looking forward to seeing what his guy can do in the second half.
See the numbers on the opening half, Shannon. Thank you very much. 13 out of 19 for Jones. A touchdown, a couple of interceptions. And they hand it off on first down. And that's Gallman, who had a pretty nice first half. Gallman averaging almost 5 yards per carry. It's 11 carries now, 55 yards for him. And this Washington Redskins defense, while not on pace to give up 31, well, yeah, in fact, on pace to give up more than 31. I beg your pardon. Not good.
But they did have some opportunities to create some field position with the 2 interceptions.
And they had only had 2 takeaways in the first 3 weeks of this season, so that is a significant improvement for Washington. Flag down. And a crossing pattern goes to Latimer. And he's inside the 30 to 25, run out of bounds at the 20-yard line. 2 flags are down, both behind the line of scrimmage. 50-yard gain, but will it stand?
There are fouls by both teams. Offensive pass interference. Number 12, offside, defense, number 90. Those penalties offset, second down.
It's the second time that Latimer, healthy again and playing this week, has been called for OPI.
Yeah, he's working on it. Jimmy Moreland, number 32, right off the get-go. Again, that's within a yard of the line, and both guys are strong. You can see offsides is lined up right there at your left defensive tackle. I'd like to show it to you, but I can't right now. I will soon. But that's alignment and mental. And I agree with Pat Shurmur right there. I don't know if I would challenge it, but again, you tell your receivers on both sides they're calling offensive pass interference more than ever. They're setting a record for OPIs in a game call.
Dump it off to Gallman out of the backfield. That's an excellent open field tackle made by Norman.
One thing about
to bring up third down.
Yeah, he's been challenged too, right? In the press and all that. Josh Norman's a pro. He's got a chance to make an open field tackle, breaking down, getting that head out in front. You'd like to see him wrap up, but he made the play.
Third down in the opening half. The Giants were 4 out of 5. We told you Washington dead last in the NFL, giving up better than 64% on third down conversions in the first half. 4-man rush, and right at the stick, the reception is made by Fowler, and appears to have enough for a first down across the 35-yard line. Yep, they'll move the chain.
That's recognition of coverage and growth in Daniel Jones, understanding where Landon Collins is. He's so far off the ball, and quite frankly, great recognition by Fowler to know where the sticks are to sit it down short. Landon Collins too far off the ball to make a break on it. Easy pitch and catch for the first down.
Gallman for a yard, maybe 2 on first down. 2nd down and 8 for Daniel Jones. 15 of 21, 143 yards, and he'll hand it off to Gallman again. And read beautifully by the Washington defense, starting with Daron Payne right in the middle.
I'll tell you, and also Ioannidis, number 98, does a good job of holding leverage, not getting knocked off the ball, keeping that outside arm free. That's what you want from Greg Minuski. You want those guys to be gap sound and gap solid. And Ioannidis has probably been their most complete defensive lineman so far early in this year. Out of Temple.
You just get the feeling this is a huge 3rd down for the Redskins. Can they stop the bleeding on a 3rd down and 8 and give Haskins the ball? Now taken off Jones. Penalty flag goes down. He has enough for a 1st down. But again, another penalty flag. Redskins have been whistled for 10 penalties.
Offense number 74. 10-yard penalty. 3rd down.
And that is the 4th penalty against the Giants.
The right side of your screen, it'll be Mike Remmers, number 74. You can see him right there at the right hand of your screen, and hands are inside. And yeah, he had Kerrigan's jersey. I get it. And Kerrigan does a good job of selling the penalty by throwing his hands in the air, yelling, "I'm being held. I'm being held." Anything helps.
Of course, they reworked the right side of that offensive line, bringing in Zeitler in the trade from Cleveland, and Remmers in the right tackle. Last year they had Eric Flowers and Patrick Omame, and things did not go well. Crossing pattern, that is Shepard, but he will be dropped 10 yards short of a 1st down. So the Redskins on this opening drive, thanks in large part to penalties by the Giants.
A nice comeback too by Fabian Moreau, making a good open field tackle, because the Giants, that was a designed running play via pass. They had 4 blockers out in front. Fabian Moreau wins his one-on-one battle to get the Giants and the Redskins defense off the field for a change on 3rd down.
First punt today for Riley Dixon. Low line drive, and it'll be fielded inside the 10 by Quinn, and he just dives forward up to the 12-yard line. Dwayne Haskins, a rookie out of Ohio State, will start this 2nd half trying to get the Redskins back in it. Oh boy, you remember these guys, Chris Spielman?
I do, and the 2nd edition of the Hogs, when they added Mark Schlereth and Jim Lachey. Great offensive line. Man, could they block. Sustained, tough, nasty, did what they had to do to get it done. You might think I would have been opposed to that. I respected that. Grab, hold, tackle, punch, whatever you had to do. Get it done.
Dwayne Haskins at least had this offense moving the football a little bit. The Redskins had 1 1st down while Keenum was in the game. And then Haskins led them to a 1st and goal inside the 5, hitting on 2 of 4 for 15 yards and a long run.
Yeah, and again, I think he hits that key 1st down for Trey Quinn, but this was nice right here. Keeping his eyes downfield, taking Green, turning it into run.
Quick throw to Richardson on the far side. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 4 for Haskins and the Redskins.
And the other thing is, we're in the 4th week of the season. He's at all training camp. People might ask, do you shrink the playbook for Dwayne Haskins Jr.? Do you shrink it? Heck no, he's been there forever. Run the playbook, see what he has.
And those first 4 drives were with Keenum in the game. And the points on the board with Haskins. So we'll call it 3rd down and 3 from the 20. Flags again come down as Haskins is looking, and throws it out of bounds. We wait on the penalty.
He was looking for Chris Thompson. And I got to tell you, man, Jabril Peppers did an outstanding job of staying patient, avoiding a pick, and being in tight coverage. Thompson's in the slot, the guy that's back of the offensive tackle. Watch the little pick right there. Jabril Peppers does a great job of getting on his hip. Conley's there to help out.
It's illegal hands to the face by the left guard, the former #1 pick of the Giants, Eric Flowers. That's 11 penalties. 2 have been declined. So right now the official game stat says 9 penalties against Washington. They've been flagged 11 times.
A lot of it, and some of them were maybe questionable calls. A lot of those are self-inflicted wounds, and they're not good enough to overcome penalties or turnovers right now.
They've got T.J. Jones back there again. And a poor punt by Tressway. Good field position for the Giants. Gruden coaching up his rookie quarterback.
16 touchdowns and 113 points. The highest scoring game in NFL history occurred November 27, 1966, when the Washington Redskins beat the New York Giants 72-41. As Redskins coach Otto Graham put it, it was a great defensive battle.
Quote that particular game, asking John Mara about it, Giants owner. The worst season in our history. Walking off that field, stopping to watch in disbelief. Kicked a field goal to get to 72 points in the game. Of course, now you'd be raked over the coals in the press if you did that to somebody. Back in those days, they weren't worried about all that. So like they asked Woody Hayes, why'd you go for 2? He said, because I couldn't go for 3.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, you know, it's not the Redskins' job to stop the Redskins. If they want to put 100 up on you, they're going to put 100 up on you. Unless they decide to have pity. There's no pity in the NFL. Nobody cares that the Redskins are down 5 starters on offense. You're called to play, you play. Now they need a big stop again for their offense, the Redskins defense.
17-3 with the Giants in front. Closing in on 8 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. And Hilliman has enough for the first down, crossing midfield, and we cross the country to Carissa Thompson.
Thank you so much, Tom. Texans trailing 10-3 following a J.J. Watt strip sack. Deshaun Watson going to do this one himself. We are all tied up at 10 in Houston. Tom, Chris, and Shannon.
All righty, Carissa, thank you very much. Making one way, rolling the other, and Jones will just hang on to it. Why not? I mean, it's nothing but green out in front of him, and not a Redskins jersey in sight. And that'll be a 7, almost 8-yard run.
You know, you should never get fooled on a play action like this. Take a look at the offensive linemen. They're going down the line of scrimmage, and their shoulders are 90 degrees pointed to the sidelines, and they're getting depth. If you do that, there's nothing to regard in the backfield. It's pass all the way. When your shoulders are square to the line of scrimmage and you take a step downfield, that's run. A defensive end and the linebacker should never be sucked up on play action just by reading the offensive line.
Hilliman again, we brought up earlier in the opening half. Great story. Hilliman played collegiately at Rutgers. This is his NFL debut. Grew up a huge Giants fan in Plainfield, New Jersey. And he was activated. They brought in some other guys to work out, some veteran guys during the week after the injury, of course, to Saquon Barkley. And they decided, you know what, let's see what Hilliman has. And he's done all right. 5 carries, 20 yards so far.
I talked to Pat Shermer about that. And I asked Pat why him. He said, look, he knows it. It's a tie between him and the other guys. The tie goes to our guys. Give our guys a shot, and he's done well today.
Get it again, spelling Gallman to the 35-yard line. It brings up a 2nd down and 7 for the Giants, trying to add to this 17-3 lead.
I too like how they're trying to shorten the game and use as much play clock as possible. They're taking on the defensive side. If you're the 2nd man in on the tackle, you start raking and stripping at that football.
Good coverage that time.
Don't worry, there's a flag.
Oh, I beg your pardon. That'll be holding against the Giants.
Holding. Offense number 70. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
That's Zeitler, who came over from Cleveland.
Right there, you see number 70. He's in the middle of your screen working on Ioannidis, who I've said has probably been the most effective defensive lineman, and that's a legitimate call and a good tackle by Kevin Zeitler. They wrap him up.
Zeitler's been a good player in this league for a long time. Played on some good Bengal teams when he first came out in the draft from Wisconsin. Former #1 draft pick, in fact, and then signed with Cleveland as a free agent. Second down. And it's Ingram on a short gain. It'll bring up third down, and we'll call it 14 yards. So once again, like the last drive on a 3rd and 8, when a penalty enabled the Giants to get a first down, this becomes a big 3rd down again for the Washington defense trying to get back into this game.
I think you play for 3 points right here. Don't force anything down the field. Hit a little check down and make a field goal attempt a little bit shorter going this way. The Giants kicker Rosas was about 58, 59 from this way. He's got a strong leg.
Sure does. He is a really good kicker. Pass rush coming, and Jones is able to get away. And now thinking first down, and Daniel Jones will get it. Oh my goodness. A gain of almost 17, but it looked like he was sacked multiple times.
Boy, that brings a smile to Eli's face, right? And Daniel Jones showing what? We talked about this poise and toughness. Not going down easy. Protecting the ball, which is another growth thing you can look at from a young quarterback. When the pressure was closing in, he covers up the football, then he trusts his athletic ability to get him the first down. And the frustration of Greg Minuski continues when you cannot get off the field on 3rd downs. That's an absolute killer for your defense.
He's had runs of 12, 7, 17, and that's a first down run by Hilliman. I mean, it's been a long time, really, since a Giant. Of course, Eli was a quarterback for a long time. I mean, he started 232 games. You know, Tarkenton, well known for his ability to run back in the late 60s, early 70s. Went on from there, of course, to Minnesota. And Hostetler out of West Virginia, he could run it a little bit.
Getting in the Super Bowl. Going high. Then Daniel Jones keeping the drive alive with the feet. But the thing, I mean, the run and all that was good, but the ball protection inside the pocket, covering it up with 2 hands, is another growth process of Daniel Jones.
Catch is made by Shepard. It'll be first and goal for the Giants inside the Redskins' 10-yard line. Beautifully designed play and a throw right on the money.
This is what you get, right? This is the RPO, where you can hand off or throw it to Shepard. Shepard wins, beats his man off the line of scrimmage. Fabian Moreau, the ball's delivered on time and in space, and Shepard's not going to go down for anybody. He's going to transition quickly from catch to run. Get all you can while you can.
Shepard had 7 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown last week. Closing in on 80 yards receiving this week. And Hilliman still in the backfield to the 5-yard line at 2nd and goal.
You can see the fatigue setting in on the Redskins defense and the frustration. You have a chance, it's 3rd and 14 to get off the field, and he slips out of there. And now somebody's got to step up in the huddle. Somebody take charge. Rise up and make a play. And I'm going to emphasize you're getting to that point of the game where the second man in on the tackle. Start punching at that ball. Rip it out.
11th play of the drive, closing in on 7 minutes in length on a 2nd down and goal. They turn and hand it to Hilliman. And the ball is loose, and the Redskins say they have it. And they do. A huge turnover in his NFL debut by the rookie Hilliman. On a 2nd and goal, he fumbles it away at the 2-yard line. That looked like Settle, who knocked that loose.
We talked about the Redskins start tackling the ball, punching the ball. Settle, number 97, is going to come in low. Hamilton high, 2nd man in, ball on the ground. Not quitting, giving your team a chance to stay in this ball game.
Settle having a nice game today. A stone wall in front of that Redskins defense, and they'll get some breathing room here to sprinkle the tight end all the way across the 20-yard line on a first down throw by Dwayne Haskins.
That's Grant Haley getting nosy right here. You have Sprinkle, you have the outside guy. Your eyes are back into the quarterback, and you say, oh no. Excellent call by Jay Gruden and his staff. Hit him with a misdirection.
Second down, play fake to Thompson, and across the middle, and it's intercepted by Jabril Peppers. He will go to the end zone. Yard interception return for a touchdown by Peppers.
Well, the guy that plays Landon Collins is Jabril Peppers. There's no separation created by Sprinkle. Peppers is in perfect position to undercut the throw. The ball's late and behind, and in the NFL, that's tragic because this can happen. That's a pick six by Jabril Peppers, who's been big today for the Giants.
That's about the only thing that's gone right for a Michigan man against a Buckeye in a long time.
Oh, wow. Wow. Bringing it. Jabril. Well, you give away OBJ and you get Jabril Peppers. Now, remember, he's a lot cheaper than Landon Collins wanted. Landon's on the other side, but Jabril Peppers making a play for his guys, for his team. He's been playing well today. Outstanding in coverage.
And of course, Peppers far younger than Collins. This is his third year in the league. And on his feet in the open field is Steven Sims. Across the 50, the 30, the 25, the 20. And finally run out of bounds. They're going to, is there a penalty flag? Of course there is. It's all the way back at the other end of the field. What a return by the rookie Steven Sims Jr.
That sums up the Redskins season right there. Wouldn't you say?
During the return, holding, receiving team, number 22. 10-yard penalty. Washington keeps the ball first down.
DeShazor Everett back up strong safety.
You have to put your eyes in the middle of the screen and you'll see Everett, number 22. It's hard to point out. I wish I had a straighter to tell you, but I can't. And right there he grabbed the Giants defender, and you didn't need to block behind the ball. Once that ball clears you, you clear your hands of everything. But that's a microcosm of the Redskins. Every time they get a play, there's always a penalty or something bad happens to negate the play.
They're officially flagged it 10 times today, but it's been actually 13 times where 3 the Giants did not accept the penalty. Still Dwayne Haskins at quarterback, and he'll give it to Chris Thompson on first down. You know, the turnovers are a story today. Normally the teams that turn it over lose football games, but the difference in this one is what you've done after the turnovers. Giants have turned it over 3 times, but the Redskins have turned it into just 3 points. Washington's turned it over twice. The Giants, 2 touchdowns.
You know the thing we always talk about, right? Points off of turnovers. What does an offense do if they get points out? Nobody ever says how important it is for the Giants, which they have risen up today off of turnovers, as you mentioned. Only giving up 3 points. That's a credit to the Giants defense and James Bettcher.
Crowd very loud behind the rookie quarterback, and he'll call a timeout. 20 seconds remaining in the third quarter, and we will send it back to Los Angeles. Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. You guys are talking about turnovers in your game. There's some in this one as well. Lions trying to take the lead. Kerryon Johnson fumbles on the 1-yard line. He thinks he's down. Officials don't blow the whistle, so Chiefs Bashaud Breeland picks it up and returns this 100 yards for the score. Fourth fumble in the third quarter between these two teams. Chiefs up in this one 20-13. Tom?
Wow. Just look at the Chiefs, okay? Getting a fumble, going 100 yards, not creating mistakes, making opportunities, and compare that to the Redskins.
Second down, and Haskins looking around, throws, and it's caught. That will be a first down to Robert Davis on what could be, more than likely will be, the final play, although Haskins is trying to get everybody to the line of scrimmage before you get to 0 on the play on the game clock, but the Redskins just not in any hurry. Down 24-3. We're off to the fourth quarter. All Giants so far today. 17-3 at halftime. The Giants the only score on the Peppers interception return for a touchdown. 24-3. So here we go in the fourth quarter. Dwayne Haskins making his NFL debut here today. Took over on the final drive of the opening half. Led the Redskins to their only points of the game. He threw an interception the last go round. And now finds Thompson up to the 27-yard line.
That's a really, really good play by Ryan Conley. Defeating a chop block by Martin, number 67. And making a play in space. Remember, Alec Ogletree, who's the play caller, is out today. But watch Conley read the screen. And this is the thing I like. Not giving 1-for-1, protecting your legs, and being able to make a play in space on the dangerous Chris Thompson. Excellent.
Right, second down and 6 now for Haskins and the Redskins. They need to pick up the pace a little bit. Trailing the way they are. That one batted into the air. Third down coming up. James Bettcher has to feel much better about his defense, which has been shredded for 94 points the first 3 games of the year.
Yeah, I had a chance to speak with him, and you know they don't waver. They just keep going to work, and he believes in his guys. And more importantly, when you have a defensive coordinator, when you're struggling, your team better believe in the guy that's calling the plays. And the Giants have responded well today.
Well, he did a great job in Arizona.
Yeah,
did a nice job out there for them. And they made the coaching change, and he was out. Redskins 2 of 8 on third down. Play clock all the way down to 3. Rookie trying to get it off in time, and did he? They didn't get it off, I don't think. Nope. You saw the guard try to tell the center to snap the ball.
Delay of game. Offense.
Boy, the difference between 3rd and 6 and 3rd and 11. Another Redskins penalty.
Well, this is you're going to judge the team right now, right? In the fourth quarter, you're starting out 0-3. There's a lot of chatter. How's your team going to respond? These guys got to step up and play and keep fighting. You never know what can happen in a football game. But you got to give your rookie quarterback a chance, and one way to give him a chance is get the snap snapped in time.
Of course, that's a fill-in center. Brooks been around a long time. Filling in for Hooligan, and Brandon Sheriff, the Pro Bowl guard. 3rd and 11. Haskins, great protection. And now it breaks down. Just nobody open. And he's sacked all the way back to the 10-yard line. And Marcus Golden, that is his 4th sack in the last 3 weeks.
I think Dwayne's holding the ball just a little bit too long right here. He had Vernon Davis on the check down. Throw him the ball. Hopefully he makes somebody make a chance, as the coverage was solid all the way around. But watch Vernon Davis. He's the outlet route. Sometimes if nobody's open downfield, just go ahead and give it to him and let him hopefully make a guy miss to pick up the sticks with his legs. He'll learn from that.
What a punt by Wade. Goodness gracious. And dropped his T.J. Jones at the 25-yard line. Golden could be a really good pickup for this Giants team. Healthy again. How about a couple of assistant coaches? Tom Landry running your defense.
Yeah.
Vince Lombardi running your offense for the New York Football Giants. Of course, they went on to become 2 great head coaches. And they were around for that 56 team. Landry and the great Vince Lombardi, both in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. First down, it's Gallman back in there. So here's Gallman's first game taking over as a starter for Saquon Barkley. They've spelled him in and out a little bit with Hilliman, but he's averaging 4.3 yards per carry, 56 yards, and he also has 5 receptions, including a touchdown.
Yeah, he's been really, really solid. You get that type of effort performance from him, you're going to do well.
And they're looking for him right now, and through his hands, just slightly overthrown. Get ready for all the heart-stopping action of the MLB postseason. The American League Division Series starts Friday night on FS1 from Yankee Stadium and the Fox Sports app.
That's my team, New York Yankees.
Oh, of course it is.
Been a Yankee fan my whole life.
Yeah.
I have been.
I know you have been.
Thurman Munson, the captain.
That's exactly right, from your neck of the woods. And last incompleted pass snaps a streak of 9 in a row completed by Daniel Jones. Overall numbers 19 of 26, 175. Do you think you have any front runner in you at all? You've always been a Yankee fan growing up in Massillon, Ohio. A Yankee fan?
Yeah, because they're winners. I thought Thurman Munson went to Camp Lehman High School. Lehman Polar Bears.
Well, so you aren't rooting for the Mets.
I'm going to prove to you that I'm a Yankee fan, and I'll show you why.
Are you going to call Aaron Boone?
Yes.
Going to call
my guy.
Brett Boone?
That's my guy, Aaron Boone. Love him. Big leaguer.
Dwayne Haskins Jr. making his NFL debut here today. 6 of 11, 57 yards, an interception returned for a touchdown. Jones so electrifying last week. His first as a starter, leading the Giants back from 18 points behind to beat Tampa Bay.
And one thing when you look about Haskins Jr., don't judge him on today's performance. Remember, during practice, he didn't get a lot of first-team reps. He didn't get a lot of reps. So you got to be patient. If you're going to make that switch, be patient with him and let him grow, and at least give him a full week of practice with the first-teamers.
Well, if they decide to go that direction, I mean, I don't think there's any guarantee this is necessarily the changing of the guard. I do want to ask you, though, for fans at home, when they read things in the paper, and what you just said about a guy getting first-team reps, as we have
Ryan Conley,
an injury on the field, that is not good for the Giants. This rookie 5th-round pick out of Wisconsin has been so good to begin this year. And we're right back after this message from Geico. Now they're continuing to take a look at Ryan Conley. We've talked about him quite a bit last couple of weeks. And the interception against Tampa Bay was a walk-on at Wisconsin. How about that? Turned into an academic All-American. Already picking up his degree in economics, and has played so well. Has a sack and an interception today, but now hurt. He just hates seeing this to any player. Taken off the field is Conley. They're already injured at linebacker with Ogletree and Davis. And now Haskins scrambling around. Bullet to Kelvin Harmon. And that'll move the chains close to the 30-yard line.
I just want to go back to your point. I mean, nothing more as being an ex-player. I hate seeing any injuries. The Ryan Conley injury, he grabbed his right leg, lower leg. I don't want to speculate, but there was no contact. And so people that understand sports and understand injuries understands where that comes from. No contact in a cart. That's concerning for me if I'm a Giants fan.
Haskins in trouble and dropped. Yeah. Dalvin Tomlinson was there. Skipper was there. And so too was Zimenez.
So you're asking, why is he holding the ball so long? Because there's not any separation being created downfield by any of the Redskin wide receivers. So you have to tuck it and go. The other thing he needs to learn how to do is step up into that pocket to buy him time and not drop his eyes and keep him downfield. Again, all this is coming with game speed reps. You're not playing Rutgers. I'm just saying that because we're in New Jersey. You're playing the New York Giants.
Thompson able to stay on his feet and cuts it back to the end left side, and Thompson off to the races. And he has a first down, and unbelievably not a penalty flag down on the play. It's inside the 45-yard line.
Just an outstanding job of guard, center, guard, getting out, becoming screen blockers. Showing some athleticism, giving Chris Thompson a chance. Good throw by Dwayne Haskins, getting over Dexter Lawrence. Thompson doing work.
39-yard gain. Pump fake, and now looking down the field to Richardson, who goes up to try and get it, and winning that battle is Janoris Jenkins. Shaq Rabbit.
Well, you'd love to see a guy that's had a tough week because there's a flag down.
Offense number 87. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is an interception and first down for the Giants.
I like the concept of going a double move on Janoris Jenkins, but he's smart. He's disciplined. He does not look back at the wide receiver, reads the double move, does not panic. It's a good transition. Then he's running stride for stride and going up and catching the ball at the highest point. I love it when a guy struggles during the week. Playing corner is the second toughest position to play in the NFL next to quarterback. You have to have a short-term memory, and Janoris Jenkins has been solid today, causing one interception early on and making his own interception, and not bad as a backup punter if you need him.
You know, I want to go back to something I was starting to ask you a minute ago about trying to have fans understand what it means to get first-team reps as opposed to being the backup quarterback or running the scout team, and we'll get to that after we check in with Curt Menefee in Los Angeles.
Hey, speaking of running, this is not the scout team. This is over this Baltimore Raven defense. Nick Chubb of the Browns, 88 yards on the score. He's got 16 carries for 162 yards and 3 scores. The Browns starting to run away with it, 30-18, less than 10 minutes left. Tom?
How about that?
Well, they were calling for that in Cleveland to get Chubb the football, take some pressure off Baker.
Catch made on second down, brings up third and long. All right, Chris, back to the question I asked you about getting first-team reps. Well, really, what does that mean?
And so you can have all the training camp you want, all the preseason games. You're not going to simulate the speed that you get on Sunday afternoons during the regular season. During the week, you're focused on giving your defense a good look. The only reps that you're getting are mental reps and in the film room. So Dwayne Haskins is going to get better once he gets first-team reps throughout the week, and once he is able to work on the timing with the first-team wide receivers on a consistent basis. That's what it's about. You need reps, especially for young guys. You can never get enough reps when you're a young guy.
Boy, if there's one guy you know he'd love to have out there today, it's McLaurin. They were in quite the pair last year at Ohio State. Third down screen, and this will get a first down and more to Gallman. Boy, has he had a nice game, and you really got to feel good for Gallman. You know, he figured to be the main running back for the Giants before they went out and drafted Barkley a year ago.
Jalapeno does a good job. Tom, right here, number 75 is the center, getting out. Not a devastating block, but just enough to create a hole for Gallman, and Slayton doing what he always does, blocking downfield. It's my turn. Go get him, Wayne.
I talked about Gallman Jr. and the Giants were very confident in this young man coming in. No one's going to replace Saquon Barkley. That's a given. But those are mighty good numbers right there for Gallman.
Yeah, if he can put up those numbers week in and week out, this Giants offense will be that much more effective because he gives you another target that you have to account for on the defensive side.
7 catches, 55 yards, and a touchdown. Also has a rushing touchdown. They put it in the hands of Ingram, and he's up to the 40, a gain of 8 on first down. Gallman, tough, team-minded player. Ran for almost 500 yards his rookie year, and then when Barkley arrived in 2018, he barely ever got the ball. 3-year player at Clemson, and an excellent start for him here today. Short of a first down is Hilliman. It'll bring up 3rd and 1. And now the question, Chris, and look, it was reported in some circles back in D.C. that a loss today could cost Jay Gruden his job. I'm not going to ask you anything in regard to that. Should it or shouldn't it? That's not our job, I don't think, anyway, to decide. But clearly an 0-4 start. I'm not sure he got to the first down there, as Everett came up to chop him down, and it appears as though Gallman might be short on 3rd and a yard. He is short on 3rd and a yard.
And 4th down, and I look at it like this. I mean, it depends on what your evaluation is. Are you going to evaluate that the fact that they have 6 guys on offense missing, if you include Trent Williams, their
Right.
offensive tackle?
Yep.
Your #1 running back coming into the league wasn't Adrian Peterson, it was Geis. And your #1 wide receiver, at least so far early on, who's a record-setting rookie wide receiver, Terry McLaurin. So it's all about how you're going to evaluate. And that's a decision that Daniel Snyder is. I think you have to have some understanding, but if you want to make the change, you make the change. If not, then you let Jay coach and coach it out.
And of course, they're without one of the top tight ends in all the NFL, Jordan Reed, and they're very concerned about his long-term health and dealing with multiple concussions. As that one is inside the 5-yard line. The penalty flag in the middle of the field, right around the 30-yard line. What a punt by Riley Dixon.
During the kick, holding, receiving team number 32. Half the distance to the goal line. The Redskins keep the ball, 1st down.
Well, you look at Dan Snyder's 21-year run as Washington owner. 8 different head coaches.
No immediate.
Norv Turner, Terry Robisky, Marty Schottenheimer, Steve Spurrier, Joe Gibbs. They brought him back. Jim Zorn, Mike Shanahan in and out. 21 years, those 8 have combined for a winning percentage of .432 and only a total of 2 playoff wins.
And that, well, I mean, everybody knows the standards. We all know the rules coming into this. And it's your job to win and produce. Then you have to put the players around that coach for him, the coach, to be able to win and produce.
Haskins still in there. He'll turn and hand it off to Adrian Peterson. He's up to the 5-yard line, and let's send it back to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.
And a back-and-forth game between the Lions and Kansas City goes the Lions' way right now. That's Kenny Golladay with his 9-yard reception from Matthew Stafford. They take the lead 23-20 as they go into the 4th quarter. 0 touchdown passes so far for Patrick Mahomes.
You know what that tells me? Nobody plays more man coverage or better man coverage than the Detroit Lions. They play man coverage a minimum of 50% of the game. So they're doing a good job of matching up against that dangerous Chiefs offense.
And forgive me if I'm wrong. I don't think they're without their best cornerback today, who's injured in Darius Slay.
Got the hammy.
Let's go downstairs to Shannon.
Hey, Tom, the linebacker position for the Giants is getting thinner and thinner. Already without Alex Ogletree coming into this game. You saw Ryan Connolly, who had taken over as a defensive play caller. He could not even put any weight on that right leg. Lorenzo Carter also questionable with a neck injury. Hey, Chris, you ready to suit up and get down here?
I got one more play in me. One. Then they'll be carting me off.
Oh, you got more than that.
It's got to oil up the titanium hip. I'll be good to go.
Absolutely. And Dr. Feelgood's right around the corner. On a 3rd down, it's Peterson trying to get to a 1st down, and they weren't going to let, I guess, Haskins throw it on 3rd down, and so it's 3 and out. And they'll punt it away in the 5-minute mark. You know, you look at the guys they're missing, and again, it is what it is. Injuries are a huge part of football, but you start with Trent Williams and not getting the contract situation straightened out where he's holding out. All-pro, year in and year out at left tackle. You've got Geis injured for his 2nd year in a row. Jordan Reed. Today you're without Roulier, the center. You're without Brandon Sheriff, your all-pro right guard. Your best offensive threat down the field in the rookie McLaurin. Of course, one of the greatest Redskins of them all actually won the 1982 NFL's Most Valuable Player Award. That was the great Mark Mosley. Against the Giants, December the 19th of '82, a game-winning 42-yarder, hit 21 in a row, which at the time set a new NFL record.
Now, he's like that super toe. You know, remember that super toe?
Oh, I remember it well.
Pounded the dude on the head.
Yeah.
He kicked field goal.
He hit it on top of the head, right?
Yeah, and I don't even know what to say when a kicker gets the MVP. I mean, they're necessary evil. Can't live with them. Can't live without them. You need them. But an MVP?
Don't know.
Or you do know. I mean, come on. I mean, you know,
I don't see
brought it up, so don't act like you don't
all right,
know. You feel quite strongly about a kicker being the most valuable player in the National Football League.
You can make an argument how important they are. They're very important to a football team. But are you telling me they're the most valuable players in the league?
Well, that's what I'm telling you, and that's the way the voters saw it that year.
Well, the voters need to re-vote. I'm calling for a recount from 1982. Hanging chats in 1982.
Yes, indeed. And if any town would find a way to make that happen, it would be D.C. There's Goldman. I think he fumbled the football. And he did, and the Redskins, with 3:38 left, it looks like, yep, they're going to get it back.
Well, that's one side of the ball that you can judge if you're a Redskins fan. Goldman has to protect the ball inside the hole, especially this point in the game. Cole Holcomb, number 55, puts a helmet right on the ball. And I love to see him keep his head up because that's a dangerous position for him. Eyes up, head up, wrap up. But the ball's on the ground. And so if you're going to judge a Redskins team, judge this defense. They've been awful on third downs, but they've been creating turnovers, and they're playing hard.
Now they've had 4 takeaways the Redskins defense have in this game, and that was after having a grand total of 2 takeaways in the first 3 weeks of the season. Well, we talked about that Kansas City-Detroit game. Just starting the 4th quarter, we'll have bonus coverage for you once this one wraps up in New York. And Haskins lays it off to Richardson. And he's able to tiptoe around David Mayo and then lunge forward close to the 30-yard line.
For you Louis Gossett Jr. fans, don't you eyeball me, Mayo.
From an officer and a gentleman.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah,
I'm surprised you got one of my movie references.
Oh, no, I got it.
First time all year.
It is, but I'm old enough to remember that. It might have been the last movie I went to. Here's Haskins lofting it down the sideline, and that was nearly intercepted by Michael Thomas. Thomas is a good player.
He's a great player. He made a big play last week, and that's somebody that's reliable that can come in and play the dime position. Again, being disciplined in your coverage, giving up the shorter one, not taking your eyes off your responsibility, and only turning when the receiver turns. Now, we always say it. There's a reason why these great athletes are defensive backs and not wide receivers.
And that is?
Got to catch the ball. Got to catch it.
That one hit Davis right in the chest. And it's Janoris Jenkins. And that's a 3rd interception thrown by Haskins, and that one was clearly not his fault.
Well, remember I talked about the timing and why you need first team reps? Here's a perfect example of no timing between Haskins and Vernon Davis. The ball's on top of him before he's turned around. He's not able to get his hands up quick enough. And Janoris Jenkins, who had a really rough game last week, has bounced back strong today. But that ball's on top of him because of the lack of repetitions between Haskins and Davis during the week. Equals that type of thing. Miscues all over the place.
So Haskins in his NFL debut, 9 of 17. 3 interceptions. Big hugs right there for Janoris Jenkins. There'll be better days for Haskins. There's a talent oozing from this youngster. 2:45 to play. We send it to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.
Look, Kansas City hasn't been Kansas City today in part because of that Lions defense, but this is a crazy play nonetheless. Patrick Mahomes, Kelsey, right there to Shady McCoy. 23 yards they pick up on that play, and it set up a Damian Williams touchdown. We told you this has been going back and forth. Right now it's the Chiefs on top, 27-23, despite Mahomes having no touchdown passes.
And that's just getting warmed up with better than 12 minutes left to play. Our game today produced by Mark Titleman, directed by Greg Scopatone. Our associate director is Poughkeepsie's own Alex Olson. And our broadcast associate Kyle Wu, our technical producer Mr. Michael Nathanson. And we thank our great operators in video and graphics, Jeffrey Osborne, not the former singer Jeffrey Osborne, and Christine Lee.
Studley He's always here.
Don't forget bonus coverage coming up as they're just underway in the fourth quarter. A wild one going on in Detroit between the Chiefs and the Detroit Lions.
Saw a picture there of Eli Manning. We're actually having conversations with the fans. The last time I did that was in Las Cruces, New Mexico, covering the Aggies. You can actually yell at the fans here. New era, they're yelling. New era.
We had fans turned around yelling up here. I loved Tony Gonzalez doing his New York accent,
Yeah.
you know, when he was in New York, and fans telling him it's a new era. We just had a couple of guys yelling at us, new era.
Yep. MetLife Stadium in Las Cruces, New Mexico. One and the same. That was that colossal tilt between New Mexico State and Nevada Reno.
Hey, but you were getting started.
Yeah, get reps. Get reps.
Exactly right, with the second team maybe, but on your way. And now look at you. They give the ball to Eli Penny. He's inside the 40. These guys are turned around now. I accused him of being a front runner. It's a guy in a red hat right there. And he's turned around. He's pointing up at us. New era. A new era. He's wearing his DJ LeMahieu t-shirt, which tells you right away he's a front runner.
He's a Yankee fan?
LeMahieu comes to the Yankees, and he's knocked the cover off the ball all year long. I mean, he's dialed in.
Dialed in? Yankee fan, I'm with you.
The cheaters, you can go to you get one of those. Pat Hamlin, their PR guy, told me to go buy one for $5 at the local drugstore. But I couldn't read his release, and I was all over my good friend, Mr. Hamlin. That'll be a kneel down. Washington 0-4 for the first time since 2001. They started that year under Marty Schottenheimer 0-5 and wound up going 8-8 on the year. Do you think this is the beginning? We know Daniel Jones isn't going anywhere. There are a lot of questions that remain about the future of Jay Gruden. If Gruden stays on, and let's just assume that for a second, are we moving now into the Dwayne Haskins area in D.C.?
I don't know. I think, don't forget that Colt McCoy
Yep.
was a guy that was slated to start, and he just came back from injury and practiced this week. A lot of decisions to be made upcoming this week for the Washington Redskins.
Well, one thing is for sure. The Giants started the year averaging 15 points a game, and they lost their first 2 games of the year. They hand things over to Daniel Jones, and they have won each of the last 2 weeks. And now all of a sudden they are 2-2 entering week number 5. We'll be back to tie a ribbon around this one from the Meadowlands of New Jersey after these messages.